So this video is going to be a little bit different, but in a good way. You know, Lock Nation, you are the best community on the YouTube platform, in my opinion. And when it comes down to it, there's a lot that I want to say. But the first thing I need to say is that you are a great photographer. I talk a lot on this channel about improving your skills. Less is best when it comes to editing. I've given you tips and suggestions on how to take photos, how to edit them, how to improve your image quality, like how to shoot in manual mode. If you haven't seen that video yet, we did an intro to that. I'll put an iCard like right up here. Now, let me be honest with you. Photography is not easy, but anything in life that's worthwhile is not easy. Look, I'm going to be honest with you right now. When it comes down to it, photography's not for everybody. People buy DSLRs. They think they're going to, have this great success. They're going to be able to start charging money ASAP for great photo shoots. But that's just the thing. You're on time and your own time line, your own time zone. And when it comes to photography, look, I know that you're probably comparing yourself to like big time photographers like Peter McCann and Casey Neistat. You're probably even comparing yourself to me. And honestly, I've been there. When I first started in photography at the age of 13, when I got my first digital camera, I was so excited. I was elated. I was elated at the fact that I was getting a camera. And I remember thinking I was taking great shots. And even years later when I got my Sony CyberShot, which I'll do an iCard like right here where you guys talk about, was the first camera that I ever bought, I thought I was doing amazing work with that. And years later after that, I got into mobile photography. And again, I thought I was doing great, but I wasn't. But I was learning. And that's what you're doing right now. Photography is not something you learn overnight. It's kind of like when you pick up a guitar. You're not going to bust out a solo like Jimi Hendrix on the first time you play your guitar. It takes time, it takes consistency, and it takes effort. Photography is like riding a bicycle. You stumble, you fall, you get scraped up, but what do? You get right back up and you continue on until you perfected that bicycle or that DSLR or SLR camera that you have, or even a mobile camera. I remember, as I talk about in the introduction to this channel, which is a very awkward video, by the way. If you want to see awkward Tony, go watch that. I'll put an iCard like right here so you can go watch how awkward I was when I first started this channel. But when it comes down to mobile photography, I remember when I first started mobile photography, I was working in fast food and I was berated every day by management, by coworkers, by customers. And so photography was my escape. It was my way to get away from the world and to see things in a different world, to see things in a different light, I should say. And so I would just, get home, even though I felt like a pile of garbage. I would tell my family, hey, I'll be back. And so I'd be gone for like an hour and a half. And I'd be taking photos with my smartphone. It wasn't this one, obviously. It was a different one. But I would be gone for like an hour and a half. And while I was out there taking those photos, I would take them with a purpose in mind. I would see things in a different light. And that's why I named that series Chasing Light, because that's one thing that I always do when it comes to photography is I chase light. I want to capture the world in a different light, in a different way than a lot of the world is seen. And I can tell you right now, those first photos I did on Instagram, which I'll put a link in the description below, you guys can see that, they weren't great. I'm going to be honest with you, they were pretty bad. But it helped me with improving my photography skills so that when I got my DSLR, I could be better. And that brings me to another point. I talked about this before, and if a guy that can go from being a photographer that takes a photo like this to a photographer that takes a photo like that, that tells you that you're a great photographer. Photography is an art. It is a way of capturing moments in time so that people can treasure these specific times for the rest of their lives. Photography is a way to escape the world and to also bring some more light to the world. You know, I remember that first photo session with my DSLR that I thought was amazing. I remember taking the photos and just feeling like I was great. I was like, oh, I feel great. I'm going to be a fantastic photographer. And then my mentor told me, well, there's this was washed out, that was blurry, you know, this, that, or the other. He was telling me, but he basically told me, don't give up. And at the time, I'll be honest, I wanted to give up. I was very deflated. I was very depressed. But to be honest with you, I didn't give up because I had the goal in mind to be a great photographer. And that is what I want for you guys, the Lock Nation, is I want you to become an even better photographer than I am. Because after all, you are a great photographer. Your skill is improving. You know, you're here for a reason. You want to improve your photography. And I hope that you are improving. You know, one of my mentors for YouTube, his name's Sean Cannell. He always has this saying, this famous saying, that he says 1% better with every video. I want you guys to do 1% better with every photo. 1% better with every photo. You don't have to tag me on Instagram. You don't even have to post it online if you don't want to. As long as you know that you're improving, I want you guys to do that 1% better with photography. Because after all, that's my goal, is to help you to become a better photographer. That's been my goal from the beginning. You know, when COVID hit and my photography business was put on pause, I sat there and I thought, I feel like my talents are being wasted. My knowledge is being wasted. And so I thought, what better way to improve myself by helping others? And so I started this channel. I wanted to help you, the Lock Nation, to become better photographers than I ever even dreamed of becoming. And I wanted to be there with you as your guide, as your Jedi Master. These are not the droids you're looking for, kind of thing. And I hoped, and I still hope, that you will continue on this journey with me, because this is something that I love so much. Photography is life to me. I always do those daily reminders. The daily reminder to get out the side and shoot some photography, whether it be with your mobile photographer, with your mobile phone, or with your DSLR or your SLR, or even just a point and click camera. As long as you are taking some photos, some way, somehow, that is what I want. And I want to remind you of a famous phrase of that I cannot emphasize this enough when it comes to photography, that you are a great photographer. You are amazing. Your skill is improving, and honestly, I cannot wait to see some of your work published in magazines, published online, published on the internet. You know, online and the internet, it's the same thing. You know what I mean. Photography is my passion, along with videography and tech. Those are my passions as well. But I'm here to help you to become a better photographer than I ever could have even dreamed or imagined that I could ever wanted to become. So if you got value out of this, then make sure you check out this video right here, where I take you on the first episode of Chasing Light. And episode 2 of Chasing Light is coming very soon. We've filmed some, but it's going to be coming very soon. So I will see you over there at that first episode.